Hey everyone, and welcome. So, if you're a data analyst and you've been watching all this AI stuff happening, thinking, man, how do I get in on that action? Well, you are in the right place. Today, we're going to lay out a super practical 6-month roadmap to take you from data analyst to a hireable AI engineer. And I'll give you a spoiler. You are way, way closer than you think.
I really wanted to start with this quote because it's the whole idea behind this explainer. It's so easy to see a job title like AI engineer and just feel completely overwhelmed. Like you'd have to start your entire career over from scratch. But you don't. This isn't about starting over. It's about building a new, powerful layer on top of a foundation you've already spent years putting together.
Okay, so let's get really clear on what we're talking about. When we say AI engineer in today's world, we are not talking about some PhD in a research lab training massive models from the ground up. Nope. The modern AI engineer is a builder. They're an integrator. They take these incredibly powerful off-the-shelf models and build real, useful products around them. That means they're connecting to APIs, they're designing killer prompts, and they're deploying actual applications. It's all about practical skills. Which brings us right to our first big point, understanding the massive head start you already have. Seriously, let's dig into how the skills you use every single day map directly to this new career path.
So just look at this. The column on the left, that's your unfair advantage. Your SQL skills, your experience wrangling data, playing with APIs and JSON, your statistical brain. These aren't just kind of helpful, they are absolutely crucial. The real work, the shift, is in your mindset. Right now, you probably live in a deterministic world, right? You write a SQL query, you get the same answer every time. But with LLMs, it's probabilistic. It's a world of maybes. And you're also going to shift from delivering charts and insights to actually shipping systems that people use. It's a subtle change, but it's a big one. So how do you actually make that shift? Let's dive into the roadmap, starting with phase 1. These first 3 months are all about laying the groundwork and really changing your identity from someone who analyzes things to someone who builds things. And here it is, the whole journey in one spot. We kick things off with a solid engineering foundation. Then we jump into building real LLM apps. From there, we tackle more advanced stuff like RAG systems, agents, and getting things production ready. And finally, you specialize. It's a really logical path from the basics to the skills that get you hired. All right, let's break down that first phase. Month 1 is all about leveling up your Python game to think more like a software engineer. We're talking Git for version control and fast API to build your own simple APIs. Then, month 2 is where the magic happens. You start building with LLMs, mastering prompt engineering, and learning how to get reliable, structured data back from them. And by month 3, you're tackling what might be the single most in-demand skill out there, RAG, or Retrieval Augmented Generation. This is how you let an LLM use your company's private, internal data. It's a game changer. I absolutely love this analogy because it should make every data analyst just relax. You know that getting a good result from a database depends entirely on how precisely you write your SQL query? Well, it's the exact same idea with prompting. The quality of your output is directly tied to the precision of your input. It's a craft you've already been practicing for years. And this is exactly why you're perfectly set up to master RAG. I mean, don't let the fancy 3-letter acronym fool you. When you strip away all the jargon, RAG is just a data pipeline for text. You take in a bunch of text, you transform it, you index it so it's searchable, and then you query it to give an LLM the right context. You already know how to build data pipelines. You're just applying that same logic to messy, unstructured text instead of clean tables. Okay, so you've got your foundation. Now we move into phase 2. This is where you go from building cool little demos on your laptop to shipping robust, production-ready systems. And frankly, this is the stuff that companies are lining up to pay top dollar for. So in month 4, you'll tackle AI agents, systems that can think and take multiple actions on their own. But even more importantly, you'll learn how to evaluate them, to rigorously measure if they're actually working. Month 5 is all about getting into production, using tools like Docker to package your app and making sure it's reliable with good logging and caching. Then finally, in month 6, it's time to specialize and really focus your skills to stand out in the job market. Now let's just stop on evals for a second, because this is your superpower. Seriously, figuring out if an AI system is any good is a data problem. It's a measurement problem. How do you know if it's getting better? How do you quantify accuracy? This is your world. That rigor you bring to data analysis, that's a massive, massive advantage that a lot of traditional software engineers just don't have. And a super quick but really important tip on agents. A huge part of being a good engineer is knowing when not to use the fancy, complicated tool.
If a simple, single prompt gets the job done, use that. If the steps are predictable, just use a fixed workflow. They'll be faster, way cheaper, and 1,000 times easier to debug when something goes wrong.
And by month 6, it's time to choose your own adventure. You could become an AI product engineer, building features that users interact with. Or you could go deeper down the rabbit hole as an applied ML engineer. But for a lot of you, the AI automation engineer path is going to be the fastest route to a high-paying job because you're using AI to solve the exact kind of expensive business problems you already deeply understand.
All right, you've done the work, you've put in the 6 months. Let's talk about the reward. What does getting hired actually look like? And what is the market really paying for these skills right now?
Well, here's a number for you. According to Glassdoor, this is the average salary for an AI engineer. The demand for people who can actually build and ship real AI systems is through the roof, and the salaries definitely reflect that.
And it's not just about full-time jobs. The freelance market is absolutely on fire. If you can get really good at those advanced skills we talked about, like building agents, top freelancers are commanding rates as high as $300 an hour. That's a huge signal about how valuable these skills are. But all of this brings me to what is maybe the most important takeaway of all. Reading tutorials and watching videos is great for learning, but it is not going to get you hired. The single most important thing you can do is build stuff. Every single project you complete on this roadmap becomes proof. It's evidence that you can't just study this stuff, you can actually apply it and create something real. So that's it. You have the complete 6-month map to go from where you are right now to a new career. You have the advantage, you have the step-by-step plan, and you know what the payoff looks like. So the only real question left is the one that matters most. What are you going to build first?